I was born in Bamberg, Germany, in Displaced Persons camp. My parents were Hungarian survivors, and when I think of my place of birth, I think of it as a warm home. So from Bamberg, we ended up going to Amsterdam. We lived initially in a school that was hastily converted for the arrival of refugees. It was transitory, and then we were transferred to another building, which had been a Jewish hospital. We were the last of the 50 families to leave, and in 1955 we came to America. I started looking further into my family's history and using the newly digitized archives at the JDC, and that's really helped me understand my family story a lot better than I used to. My grandmother was a teenager during World War I in Galicia, endured a forced deportation. She, along with the Jews of the Kolomea area, was transported and actually separated from her family, ended up being orphaned, and sort of wandered through the countryside until she made her way to Budapest as a girl of about 15. I put her town and the Kolomea area into the search engine, and I came across actual documentation, letters from the Austro-Hungarian ambassador that really gave me an understanding of why the Jews were being forcibly transported by the Russians. And the descriptions in the letters and the documents that I found are so immediate. It made my grandmother's experience just come alive to me. I think one of the things that has always impressed me about the JDC is the extent to which it reaches people in the most far-flung places. People who you would think are invisible to the world are of concern to someone, namely to the Joint. My mother, after being liberated through some huge mistake, was put into a train that was meant for Hungarian prisoners of war being transported to Russia. And she remembers looking out the train and seeing signs eventually for Minsk. So she doesn't even know exactly where she was, but somewhere outside of Minsk. Here she was totally lost to the world, but eventually this group of Jewish women received packages from the Joint. Packages with items that they could sell and trade and subsist on, and eventually the group was liberated through special connections and brought back to Budapest. My mother's sister, who had also stayed in Hungary, came out in 1956 during the Hungarian Revolution. I knew that they had to go through Vienna, so becoming now emboldened and knowing that I could find more things, I put their family's name, and sure enough, I got the registration cards. Erzsébet Birnbaum Ney Fund, that was my mother's maiden name, accompanied by her husband and my cousins Eva and George. I say to myself, we're really a joint family. If you look at the number of people in my family who were taken care of by the Joint in so many different times in their lives and so many different points of transition and points of vulnerability, really, that our family has endured, but always with a sense of, all I can tell you is that there's a central sense of stability that I can only attribute to the presence of the Joint throughout our lives.